Hi and welcome to Inside Saudi.
The podcast about life, family, culture, and style inside Saudi today.
I'm Vesna Petrovic.
And I'm Carly Overman.
Welcome to episode 5. Today is going to be a good one.
I think it's going to be very interesting. I think it's going to be very savable. It's going to inform a lot of people.
So get your pens and notebooks ready because we're delving into the cost of living in Saudi Arabia, specifically Riyadh. A lot of people have been asking for this information and we're ready to deliver.
Yes, I get a lot of questions like, how much was that? How much was brunch roughly? Like, how much was where you live? It's a big question, and it was a big question for me before we moved here. What did you think before you moved here? Like, did you think it'd be cheap, expensive?
I actually thought it would be cheaper than what it was.
Me too. I thought we'd come here and it would be like, not going to Bali, but I don't know why, but I kind of pictured things would be cheap like that.
I agree.
Yeah. And it's not.
It's not. I get a lot of emails and voice notes from a lot of people, coming into my inbox, and I'm surprised. They just don't know, and they want to know. They want to be prepared before they came, and I wasn't that prepared. So I'm glad that people are onto it. And
I know. I think what a lot of people end up doing, and what we did, is we looked at everything, like housing, schools, and like any of the expenses we could kind of cobble together, and we like made spreadsheets to try to understand if this was a move worth making, because I think that's what people kind of face. They get maybe a job offer here, and then they're like, okay, it seems like maybe this is a good choice for my family, but then you have to look at what is the cost of living here, and it's hard to know when you don't know. Like you
Exactly. And you have a lot of different options. Let's start maybe with schooling. Like I know I get a lot of questions around schooling.
Yeah.
And schooling is a big thing, especially when you're coming nationally, moving here. You want your kids to go to an international English-speaking school. So there's a lot of variety and there's a lot of different price ranges in that area. So tell me your experience.
What are the numbers? We obviously have much younger kids, and we were only looking at school for our one daughter, and she's still pre-kindergarten, but she's someone who thrives in a good learning environment. So we were always looking at, not just a nursery but we were looking at more of that school environment, because that's what we had in the UK. She's only 3.5, but she's still used to what she's used to. I want her to be around teachers who are from the UK, maybe some of that British schooling experience, because I just want to make it as seamless as a transition for her as possible. And so, we were looking at all ranges, like nurseries to international schools. And in the end, we were more into the international schools just for that reason. And so, do you want to give the price? There's a whole range. It's a range of pricing.
There is a whole range. So there's your budget national schools, which we're going to be talking in SAR, Riyals. So about 45,000 SAR, and it can go all the way up to 120,000 SAR, just depending on what you want and what you're looking for, what you want your child to be exposed to, and I guess how long the school has been established for. There's newer schools, there's older schools. So I guess it just depends what your budget is and what you're looking for.
100%. And the price ranges obviously are lower for younger students, and they get higher
as they get older.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so you have to consider that, like, how many, am I coming for 2 years? Then whatever, I'll just look at 2 years. Am I coming for the foreseeable future? Then I'm going to cost out what that's going to look like for the foreseeable future, because you might choose a school that sounds great this year, but by the time they're I don't even know what the years are here, but in year 10 or getting to those high school years, it's unaffordable for you at that point.
Well, that's exactly right. And we've got 3 kids. I know you have 2, but there's, different families coming, with, bigger families, smaller families. So I guess that takes into consideration as well as to what you're going to choose and what you can afford. And it really depends why you have come here as well. Have you come for just work, or have you come to immerse yourself in the culture and the lifestyle, or have you come here to save? And that will impact
what you decide on.
Yeah.
I would say school and housing are the 2 biggest expenses here, and the 2 biggest decisions. They're the 2 biggest things that are going to impact your budget, basically.
And give you a headache.
Yeah. And I think the one thing that I didn't realize, and maybe that's because I'm not coming from a private school, Violet wasn't in a private school previously, she was just in a nursery. There are big school fees, application fees, admission fees. They're significant
Yes.
depending on the
Yes.
school. Significant. Like I would say the range is probably from on the lower end, if it's a nursery or a smaller school or a newer school or a younger age school, 1,000 to 5,000 SAR. That's on the lower end. They can go up to 30,000 SAR.
Yes, they can. Yeah.
So
there's a lot to consider and a lot to choose from. So I'd really recommend you just delving into it, getting all the schools that you're interested in, having chats with them and getting all the actual costs and seeing what fits in your budget.
because everything changes every year, but it's a huge decision. And you want your kids to be happy. It's a huge cost for sure of living here is the schools. If you want that international school experience for your kids. So obviously I have a younger baby and he's not in school, and I don't think I'll put him in school. I don't know when I'll start him in nursery, but for now he has a nanny. So those nanny costs, they can really range as well. I think we talked about it more in our episode before, kind of the different things that you can face, like visa issues and that kind of thing. And those can obviously be upfront costs, kind of like the admissions fees. You might have to pay for visa related issues, transferring. And I think those costs can probably range from, I'm going to say 2,000 SAR all the way up to 15,000 SAR, like an upfront cost. And then on a monthly basis, honestly, it ranges from like 2,000 to even up to 4,000. We're on the higher range because we started with an agency, then we decided to take her on, and that's just what felt fair to us. And so we are more comfortable paying like a little bit more for that, just considering she has my baby all day. It's just what we're comfortable with. So, but that's the range, kind of like I would say 2,000 to 4,000. And honestly, people go outside that on both ends. So,
and that's definitely something that you need to take into consideration. We're here as a family of 5, but so are you pretty much because you have the nanny. So she's your 5th person. You have to consider that when you're finding a place to stay, when you're buying a car or whatever you're doing. She is an extra member of your family now.
Literally, like, the food budget, the flights we pay for, all the things, we have an extra member of the family. And so, Okay, so housing is the second big cost for moving here. I think this was like the number one thing we looked at, and then schools were the number 2. And then in the end of the day, you got to look at them in tandem because you need a house, buy a school. So I think the prices really range for this, and the biggest decision is, are you going to go just apartment, villa, like out in the world, whatever, just rent something, or are you going to go compound? It's a big price difference because you're paying a lot for I guess that seamless transition from you're in the UK, you're in Australia, and you're coming to this completely new place, and you're paying to be around other expats and have that community, and I guess have those amenities as well. So it ranged from, I would say, if you want a 3-bed apartment, just an apartment, 50,000 to
About
70,000.
50,000 SAR, yeah.
So affordable. And then maybe a villa is 90 to 110,000 SAR.
Yeah, and that's for off-compound villas.
Yeah. And that's a big, nice villa. I did notice with the rented apartments, rented villas, you have to put some things in, like kitchens aren't already in, things like that. So there's a little bit of that you have to do. But then compounds
can vary, and it's a big expense. And like we said, it's just kind of what budget and why you've come here. Do you want to save more money? Do you want to go all luxe? They can start anywhere between 130,000 SAR and go probably up to 350 plus thousand SAR. What do you want? Do you want the luxuries? Do you want all the amenities, the tennis courts, the football pitches, the outdoor swimming pools? Do you want to feel like you're at a resort, or do you want to go a little bit more low key and have a smaller community? Do you want a big community? Do you want your kids to be able to run around on outside, or are you happy with something a little bit more smaller?
And if you have dogs, do you want somewhere for your dogs to be able to go around? It's very not dog friendly in Saudi. So these decisions are important, if you want everyone to be happy, including the dogs. At the end of the day, we really weighed it. We saw the luxe compounds. We saw the mid-range compounds. We toured some apartments online just to see, but we knew that we really valued the expat community, at least for the first year. And we came to a place where, we kind of found a middle ground and we're happy with it. And as I said, we made the decision of school, house in tandem. And I think that's what most parents do. You have to find a school that's in your budget. You have to find the house that matches your budget. I'm going to give the most expensive example is like the Al Bustan plus American International School combo. And a lot of people do that because they're connected. Those are the two most expensive places you can choose. So that was never an option. But we toured them, not Al Bustan, but we toured the American school. But you can pay a lot here. But we had to find like a good, middle range.
I agree. And coming from Australia, where I had 3 kids in 3 different schools, I definitely didn't want to do that driving back and forth. 3 drop-offs in the morning, 3 pickups in the afternoon. It just wasn't going to do it for me. So we wanted something close to the school that we had chosen, and we wanted something that wasn't over the top as well. I just wanted something nice, new, and like you said, find that happy medium.
Yeah, living close to the school is just, you've got to do it. You've got to find a way to do that. I think it's too hard. Like maybe if you had 1 kid, you could manage that. But if you have multiple kids and you're trucking them around through Riyadh traffic, I just don't think that's worth whatever deal you found. It's not worth it.
You have to be really selective with where you choose. And I feel with our compound, it's so central. So that's what I really love about it. It's so close to everything. It's close to the schools. It's close to the shopping malls. It's close to everything. So I feel like we've done really well.
We've done well. We compromised on size.
Yes.
We're in a 3-bed apartment. We compromised on our dogs. Our dogs are not going to have the time they would have had at Al Bustan, which we were never going to take them there anyway. but you do have to compromise. That's why it's such a hard decision. I feel like nowhere is perfect. You just have to find like what meets your top priorities, the most important things.
I think so. And even the top compounds, I think that we're always going to find something to...
They're dated.
Yes.
They're dated.
We're going to find something to pick on. We're never going to be 100% happy. So I think it's best to get to that 80% and you're happy rather than chasing that 100%.
Yeah. And so then the other thing is there's a rent freeze. So they just announced it. It's for 5 years. And so if you've already got a contract, I think you're probably in a good position. I think they've upped the prices a bit now because of the rent freeze.
I'm not really sure about the terms and conditions, and I don't really want to delve into it too much. But I think if you have signed a contract, you're okay. And I don't think that the prices will be raised. But if you haven't and you're coming here and you're new, just look at the prices online and just, I guess, compare and see if you can negotiate a bit, because I know that a lot of people are really weary of that. So
I don't know. On negotiations, I didn't know really about that when I came here, and I still don't fully know. I think it depends a lot. I think at some of the established compounds, I think there genuinely might be one villa available and it's like take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And then at some, I think they're telling you that there's one and there's actually more, because I've heard from other people that have kind of said that. And then at newer places, I think there's more room because there's more places available. And so, you got to keep that in mind.
And that's what I think it's about. They're trying to create that FOMO, like you need to live here, you want to live here, you want to be part of this community, you want to be part of this luxe resort. So it just depends what you want and how much you're willing to pay and what your budget is.
Yeah. DM us and we'll tell you the real deal. So utilities, I mean, we're getting into the micros here, but I guess it's not micro, but the biggest thing here is electricity, because you're running AC all the time. And so that's the biggest difference. Electricity, and then it's your phone and it's Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi, internet, yeah.
So I think the range is about 1,000 SAR a month if you've got like a 3-bed kind of place. If you have a bigger villa, it's going to be a little bit more just because of that AC.
And if you include your phone and your Wi-Fi, you're probably looking at about 2,000 SAR a month, I would say.
Yeah, for us, it's only 1,000 because we only have like, my husband and I, we have small kids, whatever. Yeah. Small apartment, whatever. And our nanny always turns off the AC. She's like, it's not good for you. I'm like, I'm hot.
That's why you're sick.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next big expense would probably be a car. Do you want to come here and buy a car? Do you want to use public transport? Do you want to Uber it? Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to get onto the roads, and do you want to really delve in and, you know, get into the vibe of driving here? It's super fun and crazy.
Super fun.
And crazy at the same time. We've chosen to buy a car, so we have a car already, but there's so many different options. There's your smaller cars. Are you coming here as a couple? Are you coming here as a family? Do you need a 7-seater? What do you actually need? And I know the ranges can start from probably about 40,000 SAR and go into your 500,000 SARs, depending on how luxury and what you want. And I know you've done a lot of car shopping. Let us know what you're thinking.
So we've been looking, and it's a whole range. Like, obviously, we're looking for an SUV, 7-seater, just because, like, now we have the nanny, like, we have the 2 kids, if we have the dogs, like, we really need some space. Obviously, everyone told us to go look at, like, the Nissan Patrol, the Toyota Land Cruiser. Those kind of cars, kind of more luxury options at those super reliable dealers, like the Toyota, the Nissan, they're going to take you between 300 to 400,000 SAR. If you buy it outright cash, depending on, you know, the spec you get, obviously. We really liked the Toyota Prado. That's kind of bringing it down more to the 200 to 230,000 range. But, you know, it's not quite right. We also looked at Jeep. Again, that's kind of that similar range, 200 to 230. And then there's like a lot of good Chinese car options that you could get like a full kind of luxe interior specced out option for like 150. There's the tank, which is like another Chinese model by GWM. That one's like 200,000, but it's the tank. Like, it can like handle the desert. It's like, and so there's so many options. It's hard to know. There's a lot of ranges. You can go for like a more mid-level Ford that's like a big SUV that's like 250 kind of thousand. It's kind of giving that big, like, we're transporting the president in this car kind of vibe. Could you buy secondhand? Sure. I've heard some stories. I'm not comfortable because I don't speak Arabic. You know, you need to be good. You need to know about cars. You need to be able to negotiate. I'm not super comfortable buying secondhand personally.
And I think the way
I negotiate?
No. The way that people drive here, I actually wouldn't want to buy a secondhand car, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, they would have probably been in some accidents and some repairs, 90% of the cars.
100%.
So
I think even a good driver's been in like 10 accidents. And so you need to look at safety as well.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you have kids. I mean, for yourself too, but
yeah. And you want warranty. You want, you know, when you get a new car, you get the warranty, you get the servicing, you get a few things thrown in.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to pay extra. But they're options that you have, and you know you've got a peace of mind for that 5 to 10 years, whatever the warranty is.
And even in the UK, we got a secondhand car that was pretty much new, and we had some warranty left on it. But oh my goodness, what a headache was once the warranty ended. So I just want a new car under warranty. I don't want to spend an arm and a leg. So we'll see. But yeah, you have loads of options here. And I mean, yes, we walked into a Lexus dealer as well. The car started at like $550, and we're just not going to pay that.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you want a nice luxury car, there's some really nice options here too.
I agree.
And on Ubers, again, I thought that Ubers would be really cheap here. I don't know why, but they're not. They're just regular, I would say, pretty regular costing. Like, I feel like a 10-minute Uber, if you get like an Uber Black, kind of like 30 to 40, 50 SAR. So it's pretty normal, pretty comparable to the UK, I would say. And petrol, you fill up like a big tank of gas, and it is...
Oh, I think it's about 150 SAR.
So that is dirt cheap.
So yeah,
That's
fuel here is very cheap.
It's the only cheap thing I've come across.
Yes.
Other than like getting help from a nanny and fuel. But so yeah, get a car, you'll spend like nothing on petrol. Depending
if you drive a lot or not. Because if you drive a lot, then you're going to need to fill up more often. But
it's cheap.
It's cheap, so it counteracts.
Yeah. And then the metro is also very cheap. So I think every time I tap in, it's like 4 SAR. So that's like less than £1.
Yeah.
So that's a lot. That's really cheap. And the metro is brand new. Like, it's air conditioned. It's really nice. So that is really nice that you have that as an affordable option. You could easily metro to work every day, and that's definitely...
And then you don't have to worry about traffic and parking, because traffic and parking here is really next level.
But something I've noticed is, and I haven't been driving, you've been driving, but parking is free.
Most places, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So I did go to get my passports renewed in DQ, and I needed to pay for parking there. Diriyah, we paid for parking. I guess it just depends where you go. The local malls are all free, but yeah, there is paid parking as well.
Oh, okay. I feel like most places we've gone, it's been free, but then obviously there's those more touristy places or like a DQ, it's gonna be a charge.
Yeah.
A lot of people are interested in the dog costs, so I'm just gonna quickly touch on that.
Yeah.
So, because most visa-related costs may or may not be covered by your work kind of move here, so we're not really going to dive into that. Specifically for dogs, work's not going to cover your pooches relocating to Saudi Arabia. So,
what are the logistics? What are the prices? Let us know.
The prices, we paid a very reputable agency called Fly Pets. They basically have a UK side, and then they have a Saudi side that they coordinate with. They handle everything from like door to door. They pick your dogs up at your house, put them in a crate, handle everything. They make sure they have water. They make sure they're walked and have breaks. They make sure they're having a comfortable time. Put them in a kennel if they need to be before the airport. Get them on a flight. Pick them up on the Saudi side. Get them through customs. Bring them to your door. So we've just gone through that. It was 20,000 star all in, 4,000 pounds.
And that's for 2 dogs.
That was for 2 dogs. And to me, that seemed very, considering all that, door to door, all the paperwork, that seemed very affordable and worth it, because it's not a dog place here. And so I wanted to make sure that like they were going to be okay, they were going to get in, no issues. And so to me, that was worth every penny.
So I guess the last thing that everyone is kind of asking questions about and is interested in is lifestyle and cost of food, groceries, eating out, fine dining. It can be a very broad range depending on if you're solely home cooking and getting your groceries, from the grocery store, or if you're including, some takeout nights, or if you're actually going to some nice restaurants as well. So I think the price can vary quite a bit.
100%. And I would say my habits have changed since moving here, which makes sense because I lived in the countryside. I was solely grocery shopping. And I mean, we'd go out, but you couldn't order takeaway. And so we'd never order takeaway. Whereas now we have the options. There's lots of nice places to go, and you want to try them out. You want to live here. And we always knew that moving here that we would want to be able to eat out more and do all these things that Riyadh has to offer. We're leaning more into cooking at home. It's taken some time. Weirdly, I lost all cooking ability since moving here. My stomach. But I'm slow. Okay, that's just having a laughing attack. Tell me what you're thinking. What are you picturing?
I don't even know.
Basically, I would cook. When we first got here, I would cook my toddler's food, which is very basic. And then Matthew and I would order takeaway, like poke bowls, like almost every night. And that adds up for sure. So we've transitioned. Now we're doing more regular grocery shops. Like our nanny's living in with us, so she needs to have healthy food too. I feel like my bad habits were leeching onto everyone. Like if we ordered takeaway, even if it's healthy takeaway, then the nanny would want to order takeaway, and then everyone's not eating healthy. So now it's like, no, we're grocery shopping. We're getting our weekly to week and a halfly kind of grocery shop. Everyone has good, protein and good carbs, and everyone's eating a more healthy diet, so it's good. So we spend about, I'm going to say 1,000 SAR every week and a half, because obviously I have smaller kids and they eat a lot less than teenagers. Yeah. So a grocery shop lasts us more like a week and a half. And so I would say that's what it is, and I buy a range of some international products. I buy a lot of Saudi products. I buy a lot of dried beans, and I make big stews and stuff like that. And then we get takeaway a lot less now, but I'll get a poke bowl, and Matthew and I will get one, and it's probably 100 SAR for those two things. Pricey-ish. Yeah. Not bad actually, 100 to 150 SAR. And then just one recent example, we went out to brunch and cake in Diriyah. and we all got a main, we all got drinks, we all got coffees, and that was like 350, 370 SAR. So I feel like it's pretty comparable to London, and I think also you can go to really nice restaurants here, and they're not quite as expensive as London, and they're also not quite as booked up and busy as London, or whatever. Insert your major city here. Like there's some really nice places, I can't even think of them, but that you would never get into in London that you can get into here. And I've also noticed they're just a little bit cheaper. But I mean, eating out all the time, it's gonna add up. What about for you?
Back in Australia, I cooked at home quite a bit. Like my kids love traditional Serbian home cooking, so cooked a lot. Had takeaway probably once a week as just
Treat.
change it up, a treat for the kids, and they really enjoyed that. And moving here, it was kind of like you said, you kind of move here under all of the stress and, trying to get your life sorted. You kind of you get into the rabbit hole and you get sucked into, oh, it's so easy, it's so cheap, it's so convenient, I might as well just order takeout. So yeah, we did that as well for a little while until I kind of learned which shops I wanted to shop at and where I found the meats that I liked and all the different herbs and spices, because they don't obviously have the same things as back in Australia, and for my Serbian cooking as well. So had to get all that sorted, and now that I feel like I'm cooking a lot more home cooked meals. Loving the poke bowls as well. I tend to get them on during the week, just for me when we're doing podcasting, editing, and when we're catching up. I find that's a kind of little pick me up, and it's so convenient rather than going home making it all. So that's definitely a little bonus. I would say probably 1,200 SAR is our shop. Every week. And then I will go to the supermarket because I forgot this or we've ran out of this, like bread, milk, or get some fresh, meats or whatever. So it does add up a little bit more, but not too much. And then again, if you want to go to like a nice fine dining restaurant, or if like living here, you always want to, experience the beautiful restaurants and different foods. So I guess for a family of 5, it can vary a lot. So it's really hard to tell, but we did do an Asian restaurant for my birthday, and I think that was around, 1,000 SAR for the 5 of us, 1,200 SAR. So that's like the weekly shop. So it just really depends. Are you going to do that often? Are you going to do it less? What's your budget?
I think if you have a family, you have to invest in the appliances you need.
Yes.
You have to get the cooking stuff you need so you can cook healthy, good stuff at home.
Yeah.
You're moving to a new place. You're in all these options, like you say. Takes a while to settle in, but I feel like it's part of the grounding is getting back into cooking, and it means everyone's eating a little bit healthier, and so.
And it's so easy to get sucked in and just kind of keep going and keep ordering. And at one stage you need to just be like, stop, I need to get back into my routine, which you enjoy.
Yeah.
I really enjoy, and the kids are eating healthy, you're eating healthy.
I guess one other just like little example is our local coffee shop. My iced coffee is like 21 SAR. And we get a croissant there, it's like 21 SAR. And it's like a nice coffee. And so I feel like that's very comparable, if not a little bit cheaper than the UK. Again, I'm trying to find the balance because I love coffee. I drink so much coffee. I have a coffee machine. I invested in one. I have good beans. I always have my morning coffee at home, but then I like to have one out every day. So you have to find like the places where you're gonna just whatever. You live in a city now. Let's live the city life a little bit. And then like reel it in as well, because again, back in the UK I would never buy a coffee out because I just made coffee at home, but it was also like colder there and I always had hot coffee, whereas here I want like an iced coffee, I want to like straw, so it's different.
It's definitely a convenience factor as well, having everything so close and being able to have it delivered. It's at the click of a button, so it kind of makes you more prone to doing it.
I know I'll be like, it'll be after school and I'll be like, ooh, I could use a iced coffee. I'm like, hey, I asked the nanny, I'm like, do you want a nice coffee? She's like, yeah, I want a nice mocha. I'm like, Violet, do you want a cookie? She's like, yeah, I want a cookie. I'm like, all right, here we go.
And then the bill just adds up.
It just adds up. So there's things to, I think you have to watch out for it. Honestly, I think living in Riyadh, like, I think coming back to why did you move here? For us, we moved here for a lifestyle change. We were in the countryside. We were ready for like, let's switch it up. Let's be in a city again. Let's do things again. Let's travel to new places. Like, I've never been to the Maldives. I don't know. I guess I just want to go to the Maldives.
Yeah, me too. Husbands take note.
Yeah. But like all these different, I've never been to the Middle East other than Dubai.
Yeah.
So it's like, I want to travel to all these places. But at the same time, we're like, this could be a time when we really save and we have something to show for this. Like, we maybe buy our forever house in, I don't know what country after this.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's here. I don't know. But we have some goals for sure. Like, we want to do a bit of both. What about you? What is your...
The same thing, just travel. Everything is super close. Definitely want to do more of the Middle East. Loving Saudi so far, so definitely want to see Jeddah and Alula and all the different places that we can, probably drive to here and, fly to. Definitely want to do the Maldives. It's on the bucket list. Europe, so many different places we want to see. But also save, get some more investments, I guess set ourselves up and our children up for later on in life.
I think this has been a good exercise because for this episode, you and I kind of went through like what we actually spend here. So we could give like some good ranges and kind of have an idea of like the biggest costs and the biggest things to cover. And so that's been good. And it's a good reset because I've been here for 2 months now, and I think we're starting to settle in. It's like, everything's new and exciting, and now we're settling in. It's like, okay, what are our goals again? Why are we here? And so I think it's been good to go through that and do that exercise.
And that's something my husband and I have been going through as well. You're sitting down and you're kind of going through everything, and you're like, are we on track with where we wanted to be? Are we not? And what do we want to do? There's so much to see and do. Definitely sit down with your partner or by yourself, depend with your family, whoever you're coming with, and go through those goals. And also just pan out a budget. What's your salary? What's your budget? Do a whole budgeting list of, where you're going to live, the cars, everything. Just pan everything down and go through it all so you know where you stand with how much you can spend and how much you can't spend and what your budget actually is, because that's so important. When you come here not knowing, you kind of have that false...
You have to have your grips around like what your budget is.
Exactly. And you don't need those extra stresses. You want to come here and kind of know where you stand with your budget and with your finances.
Yeah, totally. I agree. I think we talked about this, like when I was in the UK, we had bought our first house. We had bought kind of, not our first car, but we bought a really nice car. And I kind of learned from that and realized you don't have to buy the top of your budget of what you can afford. You can reel it in a little bit and live a little bit more in your means and focus on saving. You don't have to just like go to like the most that you can afford. And so we kind of learned our lesson from, I don't know, the last 5 years of our life. And we've taken that here and we're like, we want to do it all, but we also want to save. We want to be reasonable. We don't want to like just go crazy here and come out with nothing. And at the same time, like it's winter season. I want to do it all. So
you definitely want to come and live comfortably, but then you want to be able to save and enjoy later on in life as well.
I guess the only other thing, and the things I've had questions on, is like, if you go to a clothing shop here, like whatever, your H&M, your Zara, your Sephora, it's probably going to be 20-30% more expensive here.
Definitely.
And so when I go back to the UK, I'm going to buy some clothes. Doesn't mean I don't buy clothes here. I definitely do. I just did a Sephora, got a few things from Sephora because we didn't end up going back to the UK when I thought we would. But you're going to pay a little bit more. That's just the reality.
Everything is definitely a lot more expensive. Went into Mango, I don't know if you were with me, and they had the price in euro. They had it in SAR and in euro. And I thought, hold on, let me just jump on my phone and convert the price. And it was double the price of the euro price. So I thought, that doesn't make sense. But hey, if we love it, we have to pay for it. But definitely something to think about if you're moving here and you know the brands you love, you know the fashion, just be modest, elegant, You can buy everything you need and bring it here, but honestly, you're going to want to buy when you're here as well. There's so many beautiful stores. There's so many beautiful abayas. You're not going to be able to not buy.
No, 100%.
But it is a bit more expensive.
And it's not to scare you. It's just to say that that is what it is here. But it hasn't stopped us, and it's been fine. It's just something we've noticed.
So I know you can get really excited about coming here. You think, wow, tax-free money. But the reality is that everything is a lot more expensive.
100%. Like, and so that's why you gotta cost it out. I think you gotta go through this exercise of finding the compound you want to be in or the housing you want to be in, finding the school that matches that. You got to cost it all out and see if it's a move worth making. I mean, on the other hand, it's an amazing place to be. Like, I just love it here, but I think you have to have the ability to be able to go out, and then obviously you got to have your goals, whether it's holidays, lifestyle, or it's saving, whatever. You've got to be able to do what you want to do when you're here.
Yeah. Create that budget. Figure out where your budget fits into that budget and then enjoy. Make the most of it. It's such a beautiful country. There's so much to do and to see and to experience. This winter season, it's just started and it's got me so excited about all the things we want to do and see. So 100%. Enjoy it.
On winter season, I would say tickets for things are cheaper than like London, I think, on average. Would you agree? Or
yeah, they're probably a bit cheaper.
A little bit. You know, it's like pretty much on par. Like everything here is pretty much on par with living in any major city. But there are certain things that are just like that little bit cheaper because I think it's a bit newer here. Like the restaurants are newer here. It's like newer openings. It's like maybe the first time some of these shows have toured here, and the tickets are a little more affordable. I am finding that when I go to buy tickets, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's feasible. Like it's a little more feasible to go out a little bit more here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in.
And please, if you have any other questions about cost of living, whatever, leave us a comment. If you really want to get into the detail and we can't, DM us and leave us a rating, leave us a review. We love that kind of stuff. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts.
Let us know what else you want us to talk about.
Truly, because we have so many ideas. Like we're thinking we want to talk about winter season and everything we want to do for the winter season. We could kind of do a more in-depth review of like the compounds we toured. There's so many things we could talk about, but we want to hear what you want to know about.
Yeah.
So, okay, thanks everyone.
Thank you. Bye.